Hello and welcome to Your Broken Galaxy. I am Broken, and today I'm asking the question, what if Palpatine fell into the lava river on Mustafar? Alright, so as I do, I was looking through other YouTuber videos, and I came across this utterly hilarious thumbnail by Starwarsquill, and thought, oh, this looks like a funny video. And then I clicked on the video and found a nice little story, but it wasn't a comedy. However, I thought this would be great as a comedy, and I saw some other individuals, such as Warpstar Rogue 3554, who commented on this, also say they thought it would be a funny idea. So, as I do, I'm gonna write a story about it. However, I would encourage you, if you do like the more serious style what-if stories, check out Starwarsquill. He's got a lot of good stuff. So Obi-Wan has just dismembered the arms and legs off of Anakin like an older brother takes off the limbs of his little sister's Barbie. And Anakin is just lying there, burning and feeling just absolutely awful. Obi-Wan, who truly believes that Anakin is going to die, does not put him out of his misery, but instead picks up Anakin's lightsaber and walks away. Anakin lies there in the depths of unfathomable pain for a few hours until Palpatine comes, walking up saying, "Anakin, Anakin," and Anakin says, "Master, please, Master, help me." And as Palpatine gets to Anakin, his feet sort of slip on the shifting sands, and he tumbles face first into the lava, just immediately gone. Well, maybe not immediately gone. There were a good 3.5 or 4 seconds of just soul-crushing pain when his head was, melting away. And while Palps is tumbling forward, Anakin just watches him fall. It is a super quick, less than a second from the time his foot slips until the time his face hits the molten rock. But Anakin perceives it in slow motion, almost as though the Force is mocking him by showing him Palpatine looking with confusion in explicit slow-motion detail, while Anakin just stares back with a blank expression on his face. After about 10 seconds of emotionless staring at the river of lava that his master had just fallen into, he lays his head back down on the ashen sand and says, "Well, frick." After a minute after that, the 2 clones that were with Palpatine came back. He had sent them to get a medical capsule for Vader. So they get there, and one of them says, "Where's the Emperor?" "Trooper, he slipped and he fell into the lava," Anakin says. And the clones believe him because they would. I mean, Anakin is in no shape to have done anything in his condition to the Emperor. So they end up grabbing Vader and they just bring him to a normal hospital, right? Like when Palpatine was flying to Mustafar, he didn't say to the clones, "Okay, guys, after we pick him up, we're going to go to my secret medical facility." He didn't know the extent of Anakin's injuries or anything like that. Palps likes to keep things secret. So the 2 clones, we're going to just call them Jeff and Tim for now, they are a little bit panicking at this point, right? On the way to the hospital to drop off Vader, Jeff is like, "Tim, dude, what are we gonna do? The Emperor's gone." And Tim says, "Yeah, man, I don't know. It was a secret mission, too. I don't know what we can tell, but that's not classified." So they drop off Anakin. And I mean, the hospital does its best job, but he is in a mess of a state, right? And Jeff and Tim fly to the Senate building and end up meeting with Mas Amida. And they're like, "So, we have some bad news." And Mas says, "I don't have time for this. I have to meet with the Emperor concerning about 1,000 different matters of state, since the Galactic Empire is completely overhauling what the Republic administration used to do." And Tim says, "I don't think that meeting's gonna happen." And Mas says, "Gosh darn it, what happened?" And Jeff says, "Okay, so the Emperor had us go on a little bit of a secret mission to a world which just so happened to have some lava rivers, and he may have accidentally fallen into one." And Mas Amida is like, right? He is just silent. He's just looking at them with disbelief. And Jeff says, "If it helps out, we did manage to save Darth Vader." And Mas says, "Who the heck is Darth Vader?" And the clones say, "Oh, it's Anakin Skywalker." And Mas says, "What the heck did you save him for? He's a Jedi. He's an enemy of the state. Where is he?" And Jeff says, We dropped him off at Coruscant Senatorial Hospital. So Mass grabs his phone and says, Daisy, his secretary's name is Daisy, I need you to call the Imperial Guard, have them go over to CSH and arrest Anakin Skywalker. And she says, you got it, boss man. Okay, well, one of the things on the list of concerns was how to handle Imperial succession since the Emperor didn't have any heirs, Mass says to himself. Then he looks over at the clones. Did you see the Emperor fall into the lava yourselves? No, not really, Jeff says. Well, then how do you know he fell in? Oh, because Darth Vader told us. Why the heck do you keep calling him Darth... Never mind. Is it possible that Skywalker pushed him in? Oh, no, not a chance. Why not? He's a powerful Jedi. Well, because he had both of his legs and one of his arms cut off, Tim says. Yeah, and the entirety of his body was absolutely covered in third-degree burns, Jeff adds. I'm amazed he even made it to the hospital alive. How the heck did that happen to him? Mass asks. Oh, we don't know, Jeff answers. That was, it was what it was like when we got there. Okay, well, I'm going to be appearing before the Imperial Senate in about, Mass says while looking down at his watch. Okay, in about 2 freaking minutes. Go and make sure Skywalker is properly detained. He may be missing his arms and legs, but he's still a Jedi, so keep some guns on him and, I guess, handcuff his last remaining arm to the bed. Yes, sir, Jeff says as they scurry off. Mass Amida, meanwhile, ends up walking over to the little rising podium thing that comes out of Palpatine's old office, and he raises himself up into the Senate chamber. He ends up saying, Esteemed Senators, I have unfortunate news. On this, the second day of our great empire, I have the sorrow of telling you that our beloved Emperor Sheev Palpatine has tragically passed away. We have a Jedi in custody. He is in critical condition, but should he survive, we will be questioning him about our Emperor. And the room starts murmuring, right? And everyone is just baffled by what all this means. Finally, after a moment, Mon Mothma rings her little Senate bell and says, so, since we don't have an emperor, are we going to revert to a republic now? And Ma says, I guess I could be the new emperor. And there's some more murmuring, but it's a lower tone. Mas knows that they're not really all that fond of that idea. So he says, well, we haven't exactly got a legal structure in place to select a new emperor, so maybe that is the best decision, to revert to the Republic. I mean, Palpatine had an incredible vision for the galaxy, but turning us into an empire, the paperwork alone, you wouldn't believe it. Let's go back to the Republic. And everybody starts golf clapping. Meanwhile, Bail Organa takes Leia and Obi-Wan takes Luke. Yoda heads off to Dagobah, but after Bail leaves the Jedi, he decides to turn on the news, and the Holo News reports that an election for Supreme Chancellor is going to take place. And he is like, what? What happened? So he finds out that the Emperor is dead and that in his absence, Mon Mothma has nominated him to become the Supreme Chancellor. He ends up getting back and calls Obi-Wan and is like, Master Kenobi, so you're not going to believe this, but the Emperor is gone and Anakin is in a medically induced coma recovering from your fight. By the way, what the heck, man? I read the medical report on him. You left him like that? That is so messed up, dude. So Obi-Wan is like, oh my. That is distressing. So Bail Organa ends up getting elected Supreme Chancellor, and he goes to visit Anakin, who is on so many meds that he can't even feel the pain. And Bail says, so Anakin, if you don't mind, I have a question for you. And Anakin says, sure, what is it, Senator? And Bail is like, actually, I'm the Supreme Chancellor now. And Anakin says, really? Wow, that's good for you. Yeah, thanks, Anakin. What happened? Oh yeah, Palpatine slipped on the sand and fell into the lava. What? Bail asks. And Anakin, who is kind of giddy from the medicine, says, yeah, he told me to go finish off Obi-Wan, after I attacked the Jedi Temple. And Obi-Wan, cut me up bad. And then Anakin looks down at the stumps where his arm and leg used to be and says, oh, no, that's not good. And Bail says, Anakin, please focus. And Anakin says, oh, yeah, so I went to fight Obi-Wan and he did this, this to me, and Master Sheev came to save me, but he slipped on the sand and fell into the lava river. Where the heck were you that had a lava river? Oh, we were on Mustafar. Why were you there? Because that's where the Separatist Council was, silly, Anakin tells him. The Emperor told me to go finish off the Separatist leaders. How did he know they were there? Bail asks him. Oh, yeah, he was a Sith Lord. He was Dooku's master the whole time. So why did you listen to him? Why were you obeying Palpatine? Oh, well, after I cut off Master Windu's hand, the Emperor made me his apprentice so he could save my wife. Oh, no, where's Padme? And Bail says, I'm afraid she didn't make it. And Anakin says, what? No, that's so sad, man. And Bail says, yes, but, well, I guess there's no harm in telling you this. Now, she did give birth to your 2 children, Luke and Leia. Oh, I'm a daddy, Anakin says. Yes, congratulations. Get well soon, buddy, Bail says as he pats Anakin on the knee, causing him a significant amount of pain. Then he goes back to the Senate with the recording of his conversation with Anakin and says, my fellow representatives, despite the medical haze that was afflicting the Jedi Knight Anakin Skywalker, it seems to be that Sheev Palpatine was personally responsible for the cause of the Separatist revolt as Count Dooku's Sith master, and was secretly pulling the strings on both sides of the war in a ploy to ultimately do 2 things. First, to take down the Jedi Order, and second, to become the Emperor of the Galaxy. Unfortunately, he was able to actually do it. He destroyed the Jedi Order and was able to create and ascend to the Imperial throne. We were all of us deceived by this Dark Lord. We must remain vigilant in the future and enact laws to assure that no person can ever again have such power. The room erupted in applause, and after a moment, a senator from some tiny, almost irrelevant planet says, so what happened to Palpatine? And Bail says, well, he slipped on some sand and fell into a lava river. And the senator continues his line of questioning. So, you're telling us that the legally elected former Supreme Chancellor secretly organized the creation of not 1 but 2 armies, orchestrated a galactic civil war which resulted in the loss of literal billions of people across the galaxy, successfully destroyed a 25,000-year-old rival religious order, and became the emperor of the entire galaxy. And then, the literal day after this most convoluted and yet miraculously successful plan in galactic history for galactic domination was accomplished, he was thwarted by slipping on some sand. And Bail stands there for a solid 5 seconds in silence and says, yes. And another senator screams out, I friggin' love sand! And the room explodes into roars and cheers, and a chant goes up, sand, sand, sand. Meanwhile, Obi-Wan and Yoda relocate to Alderaan with Luke and Leia to rebuild the Jedi Order. Anakin is imprisoned for the rest of his life there, but every weekend the kids come and see their old dad, and Wilhuff, Tarkin, and Admiral Thrawn organize a brilliant and capable military which is able to easily defeat the Yuuzhan Vong when they arrive a few decades later. The galaxy lives happily ever after. Well, that is my video for today. Thank you for watching Starwarsquill. If you're listening, I like your channel. I want to say my favorite part of your entire channel is in your What If Anakin Didn't Save Palpatine video after Mace decapitates Palps, and you have the little animation of Palpatine's smiling head with sunglasses on falling down. I think that's funny. I wish you continued success on YouTube. I like your stuff. If any other listeners haven't seen Starwarsquill, check him out. He's not comedy stuff like me, but he does have some comedy in his videos, and he just has some fun little ideas here and there. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and all that garbage.